This is Make It, Code It, Print It. This is another video discussing upgrading the CTC Bizer to Marlin Firmware. And in order to know what's going on, the CTC Bizer uses the Mighty board, and you will have a chipset of the 1280 or the 2560. And as stated, you might need the magnifying glass. There is a reset button, however it's not necessary in this upgrade. And then there's the printer port, which you'll need to connect to, which is necessary. And the printer port and reset button are next to each other. And what you'll actually need to load the Marlin software is obviously the CTC Bizer. You'll need Marlin Firmware, you'll need Visual Studio Code, and a printer cable. The first thing we're going to do is obtain the Marlin Firmware. Bring up a search engine like Google, type in Marlin Firmware, and then under the top results you'll see the Marlin Firmware homepage, and you can tell it's the Marlin Firmware homepage because it has it in the address. And we're going to click on the home. Then we are definitely there. Then we're going to download the Marlin Firmware, but it doesn't do an immediate download. And once we get to the download page, what we want to do is go to the current release. I wouldn't go for the beta. You don't know how it'll work. And what we want to do is we download the zip. I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to click on it again. And then down below you're also going to see a lot of bug fixes. We're not really concerned with that right now, but we need the configuration. So it'll redirect us to GitHub, and then all I have to do is go here, click on this green code, and then all I have to do is download the zip. Now we have the components of the firmware. Next we need Visual Studio Code. Once again, type it in a search engine, and then when it brings it up, click on the download page first. Here it gives us an option for Windows, Linux, or Mac. I can't speak for Linux or Mac, so next you want to do is just download for Windows 10 and 11. I already have it installed on my computer, but download it. Now once you've downloaded it, of course you want to go to your downloads and then double click it, but however I've already downloaded it and installed it, and my computer is not going to like that. So you'll have to follow the instructions, and if there does need to be a video made about it, I can do that. I'll have to find some laptop or PC that doesn't have it and then show the installation. Now once Visual Studio Code is installed, you'll have a screen that looks like this. This is blurred out because I've been using it, but you'll have the Start Open File Open folder. Now what you're going to have to do is get that downloaded Marlin Firmware, unzip it, and you can extract it several ways, really doesn't matter. And now it's been extracted, you can actually use it for Visual Studio Code. And you want to open a folder and redirect it to where it was. And now that it's there, it's going to actually open up, and you get to choose. You can actually build it right away, which is not a good idea. And also it's going to ask to install a lot of stuff. Say yes, because you'll need what it's looking for. And for example, this platform I/O, yes, it needs it, and let it do it. However, when it shows the auto build, you'll find that something's kind of wrong here if you look at everything. It's looking for the machine, and the machine's wrong. It says ramps 1.4. It's looking for ramps. The pins are for ramps. It has the ATmega 2560, but this is not the CTC Bizer's board. And that's actually why you had to download the configurations. And this is where you actually have to alter the physical software. So in configurations, you're going to go to actually examples, and then you're going to find CTC Bizer, and what you're going to do is copy these files then go back to Marlin, and you don't put in the configuration file. You actually go to this file, Control V, yes, replace them. As you notice, suddenly it updated. Now we have the CTC Bizer board. It's the My Board Rev E, has the pins, and still the ATmega 2560 or 1280. We can hit build right now, but that's not going to give you the result you want. In fact, it would work, but you don't want it. You actually have to alter a few things in the configurations if you want everything. And here's where you find the things you need to check for hitting build. Go over here to the Marlin folder, go to configuration.h, and then what you're going to want to do is it'll start up here. You just want to make sure, for sure, even though it's telling you, you want to make sure it's the My Board Rev E. Check your serial port. You can change it. Not really necessary most of the time. You can change your baud rate, faster or slower. This rate is just fine. Then you can change the name of the machine if you want to from the CTC Bizer. Then just keep going down. And then if you have a different end, you can change your filament diameter. And then you want to find out, make sure that's on number of extruders. Here's the distance. I know, for example, my second extruder is at 34 millimeters apart. And it means I passed the number of extruders, because this is always, here it is. You can select one or two, because some people have altered their machines to have one, so that's where you choose it. But if you've chosen to, you go down here and you change the distance. There's lots and lots of features. Thermal settings I won't worry about. There are some leveling settings that you can enable, but we won't touch that here. However, the one thing that we are looking for is that I put an extra fan on mine. So I want to enable the cooling fan. And if you don't have the cooling fan, then you don't have to do this. But there is a feature that you must enable if you want the cooling fan. And here it is. And that's why I Google the fan. And then if you have the cooling fan, this is one of the things you have to do. You have to enable this. And enabling that number M106 fan, that's only part of what you have to do. The next is not as fun, and you'll have to follow along. You have to go back over here to the folders. You'll have to go SRC, and then go down to module. Then go down to pins. Then under pins, you have to go down to mega. then my board Rev H. Now this is open. Basically, this is where you actually put in a, like, this is where you have to put, like, program a fan. Oh, passed it a little bit. Okay. Now this is where there is an error in the code. I consider it, because you should all you have to do, like, you should only have to enable that to get your cooling fan to work if you have it installed, but that's not the case. What you have to do is put in this code right here. And then what that'll do is make so you can actually use your cooling fan. And that's simply it. And then now that's all done. And if you don't need the fan, don't worry about it. You can actually skip the past few steps. Now choose which one you want and hit build. But here's another thing you can do. You can also upload it if your machine's connected. Well, let's hit build and see what happens. Alright. Built it, and it made a hex file. Now you can upload this hex file through the method that I showed in my last video, or just keep it on file. But essentially the easiest way though is just to hit the upload button, and it'll just download it directly in the CTC Bizer. You don't even have to hit the reset button. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any other questions, please leave it in the comments below. Thanks. Bye.